This short video and the two that accompany it will give some basic orientation to the way in which English, similar to most other languages, forms a sensible communication. An acquaintance with these basics will assist us in making sense of biblical texts, particularly those in English translation. The three videos deal in turn with 1. Topics and comments in how a sentence is put together, 2. Adjectives and adverbs and the way they add color and depth to what we say about topics and comments, and 3. Prepositions and conjunctions and how they function to relate to one another the various parts of a communication. Now that we've considered topics and comments, as well as adjectives and adverbs, we can wrap up this brief summary by taking up prepositions and conjunctions. Prepositions and conjunctions are function words. Prepositions function to make nouns and noun phrases act like adjectives and adverbs. Conjunctions function to link or conjoin nouns to nouns, verbs to verbs, phrases to phrases, clauses to clauses, sentences to sentences, paragraphs to paragraphs, and so on. Conjunctions also function to make clauses act like adjectives and adverbs. Prepositions introduce nouns and noun phrases in order to form prepositional phrases. In the house, under the bed, after supper, over the swirling river, in spite of the snow, of alabaster. All of these are examples of prepositions introducing a noun or noun phrase and forming prepositional phrases. Some of these prepositional phrases function as adjectives, some as adverbs, and some as either. In the house can function as an adjective. Everything in the house was for sale. Tells us which things. Not everything in the whole universe, just everything in the house. We have to know which house, of course, but it restricts it. As an adverb, the kids built a Lego SUV in the house, telling us where the building of the SUV took place. Under the bed. As an adjective, the sock under the bed was Bob's. Tells us which sock was Bob's. The others were someone else's. Or as an adverb, Bob hid under the bed. Tells us where he hid. Not under the covers, not in the closet, but under the bed. Despite the snow functions as an adverb. The show went on despite the snow. It tells us against which odds the show went on. Of alabaster. As an adjective, eggs of alabaster rolled across the floor. Tells us what kind of eggs, what sort. By the way, note the prepositional phrase across the floor, functioning here as an adverb about telling us something about rolled. Conjunctions come in two types, coordinating and subordinating. Coordinating conjunctions connect independent items of the same kind, noun to noun, phrase to phrase, and so on. Subordinating conjunctions introduce clauses that are dependent on or that support some other clause. Coordinating conjunctions include those like the following. And is probably the most common coordinating conjunction. Jean and Debbie and Donald. Noun to noun. Danced and sang. Verb to verb. In the rain and in the street. Phrase to phrase. But is another common conjunction. Gandalf demanded the ring, but Bilbo hesitated. clause to clause in this case. Other coordinating conjunctions include either, or, they go together, neither, nor, they go together, not only, but also, likewise go together. Each side of the coordinating conjunction, as for example, Jean and Debbie, is of equal syntactical or grammatical standing or function vis-a-vis the other side. Both Jean and Debbie danced. Jean danced and Debbie danced. Subordinating conjunctions, on the other hand, include those like the following: before, after, while, when. They introduce a temporal qualifier, a temporal modifier, a temporal adverb. When I became a man, I put away my toys. It tells something about when I put away the toys. While the snow descended, the smoke ascended. I really want to talk about how smoke ascended, but it happened while the snow was descending. Tells us when as an adverb. Other subordinating conjunctions are because, in order that, and so that. These introduce cause for an action, purpose of an action, or the result of an action. Because I had lied, I lost all my privileges. This is why. This is the cause of my losing privilege. I lied in order that I might get extra privileges. This is why I lied, the purpose of my lying. And finally, I lied so often that no one believed me anymore. I lied is the main point, but it's modified by the somewhat extended clause, so often that no one believed me anymore, which expresses the result of my lying. All of these are adverbs. All these phrases introduced by subordinating conjunctions are adverbs. Other subordinating conjunctions, although or even though, introducing a condition in spite of which the main sentence is nevertheless true. We can call these concessions. We concede that X is true, but nevertheless, Y did take place. He persevered in his struggle, even though all his friends laughed at him. We concede that his friends laughed at him, but nonetheless, he pursued. A very, very common subordinating conjunction is the word that. It turns a sentence, an entire sentence, into a functional noun. I know something. What is it I know? What's the direct object of know? I know that my Redeemer lives. That my Redeemer lives is functioning as a noun, as a direct object. The word that transforms the ordinary sentence, my Redeemer lives, into a noun, telling what I know. The takeaway for conjunctions are these. Coordinating conjunctions connect items of equal value, noun to noun, verb to verb, within a sentence. The items connected by coordinating conjunctions are of equal function to each other. Subordinating conjunctions introduce sentences or clauses that in some way support the sentence or the clause to which the conjunction attaches it. Often the subordinating conjunction itself indicates the nature of the support, telling when, as in while, telling for what cause, as in because, for what purpose, as in order that, telling what result, as in so that, or giving a concession, in spite of which, despite. One side of the subordinating conjunction, the side it introduces, is of secondary syntactical grammatical standing or function vis-a-vis the other side. The subordinating conjunction introduces a supportive clause subordinated to the main clause. There are many other conjunctions and prepositions, but these should give you some idea of their nature and use.